I didn't spend any money today. We just went for a walk and fished, stayed on the boat, worked on little projects and stuff, and I just realized I didn't even open my wallet once today. So that feels pretty good. Okay, guys, I got into a mess of panfish, and I even caught a bass. I backed the barge right up into this little honey hole right here, and I'm just pulling them out. We're changing up snarls. We were just fishing that one, and then we're moving over to this one. Okay, we moved up to this corner here, this other log. You see my bobber there? This is probably where we're just going to anchor tonight, because the wind's, that's a windbreak, sending the wind over the top of us. We're like in a little wind shadow right here. Well, this is what we caught today. That big one's a bass, and the rest of them are little sunnies. And I think those and some potatoes will make a nice fish and chips dinner. Let's fillet them up. This is what we came up with. We got some fillets, some potatoes. We're gonna make some fish and chips. So here's my final result. Fish and potatoes. I picked up some condiments when I was at the Quick Trip a couple days ago. Never waste money on ketchup or tartar sauce. Just grab them from the condiments. Good morning, guys and gals. It is cold again. And to prove it, ice. Ice in the dish bucket. But it's beautiful. We're just kind of having a lazy morning. We laid over for the day in Clinton, Iowa. This was a nice little cove. Caught a few fish over there in those tangles. Ate them last night. A bass and 4 sunnies, which is just enough with some potatoes. Yeah. And the wind just died down. Good transit day. Stay tuned. Missed that submerged log by inches. Okay, guys, we are leaving Clinton, Iowa, Fulton, Illinois, Clinton, Iowa. It's been a nice little stop. This little cove was great. But let's see what's further down the river. Let's try to get below this cold at 5 miles an hour. Oh, it's nice to be back out on the river. Just taking one day off, kind of do something different, charge the batteries, do a little fishing. Makes you appreciate getting back on the trail here. I always love passing under the bridges. Look at that damage there. It looks like maybe a barge ran into it at one time. Probably did. Why would I need a winter jacket? I'm leaving winter. I'm going south. I don't need a winter jacket. Yep. Famous last words. I think this is a good example of just how much these barges carry. You can see how it's weighted down the back on this one. They're unloading the front there, and it starts to come up. They draft like quite a bit. 10, 12 feet, looks like. If we went down that way, that's like a sub-channel of the Mississippi here, and it looks very industrial. Look at that. Look at all that. Look at all that hard work going on down there.
Everywhere I look, something reminds me of her.
Got a barge sneaking up on me here. Keep an eye on him and get out of his way as he gets closer. We'll let this big boy pass. I'm going to show you guys this little trick. Since I can't walk down the side of my boat, and I want to put my dinghy, I want to start towing it from the back, and I had it tied up on the side this morning. I use this long line, and I just send it back, and then I go to the back and I grab the boat. And I just come back here and grab it. We are coming into another little river town. I'll put the name on the screen. I'd have to look it up. This is the Iowa side, and this would be the Illinois side over there. And I see on maps that there's a gas station. We're not like desperate for fuel, but if there's a gas station pretty close to someplace I can dock, then I usually run up and get 5 or 10 gallons. And Wavey needs a walk too, so let's go to town for a little bit. Stay tuned. You know how hard it is to carry gas cans, a beagle on a leash that only wants what's 10 feet in front of her nose? Do you know how hard that is? Okay, we are on the hunt for a Casey's gas station, which I think is right up here, if I'm going the right way. We're gonna get some gas, and we'll kind of take care of work before pleasure, as they say. And then let's go walk around this little town. It actually looks like a kind of a neat little town, and the weather's improved. I bet you it's 45 today. Good enough for me. Oh yes, Casey's. Stobe the Hobo, his favorite place when he was riding the trains. If you don't know about his channel, Stobe the Hobo was a legend. He died, unfortunately. Very sad. Anybody that thinks that trains aren't a thing in 2023 would be mistaken. Just come down the Mississippi River and you see them all the time, on both sides, up and down. All these towns have trains going through them. Seems like once an hour at least. So we dropped the fuel off at the boat. Let's go walk around this little town of Princeton, Iowa. We'll just take a few minutes. It doesn't look very big. Probably won't take long. I see a church spire peeking up over the trees. They're always up on the top of hills. Well, we need the exercise. Let's go check it out. Princeton Presbyterian Church. We're gonna walk to the top of this hill just to look at the water tower. Oh, nice. A dog park. Wavey Grady, look. You can actually run free. Go. I have folks say to me sometimes, why do you explore Iowa or North Dakota? I had a subscriber one time, I think he dropped off. I haven't seen him in a couple years, but he was always giving me grief about it. Why North Dakota? It's so boring. Well, if this is boring, then give me a whole lot more boring, please. No homeless to speak of. Not that there's anything against homeless. I feel for them to a certain extent. Tent cities and sidewalks, needles, feces. Just go take a look at modern day San Francisco and tell me, if that's the opposite of boring, just give me a whole lot more boring, please. We got some rollers here going into the wind again today. And these are probably the biggest ones that we've come across so far. They're not huge. I'm not making a big deal about them. But I want to see if I can get a little footage just to show folks, like, here's a good series right here. If you hit them just right, you know, kind of this one. You can see it, the spray coming up. A little bit of water comes on deck. Not a big deal. Coming into the top of the Quad Cities, Davenport, Iowa, and the towns around that. I've actually never been here. I've never been here on land, never driven through here. I've heard about it. I've heard that it's a nice area. So yeah, we're visiting it for the first time on the river and on the Shanty Boat. And the weather's improved. It's kind of on the way up. It's actually it's still chilly, but, you know, it's tolerable. This is actually Interstate 80. I didn't realize that until I just looked at the chart. And we're going to go right over in this corner, I think, and drop anchor, because it's kind of in a wind shadow, as long as the depth holds. Working guys coming to work, working on the bridge today. Good morning, guys and gals. Just waking up outside of Davenport, Iowa this morning, and I've been up since about 5 in the morning working on the next video for you guys. And I started looking around and I was realizing I was missing a bunch of stuff that I probably should be getting footage of for some future episode. So that's how it always goes. Life is what happens while you're making other videos. Let me turn the phone around, I'll show you what's going on. There's the lock and dam. I forget what number that is. 13, I think. We stopped before dark last night. It's always better to pass in the morning because you don't know quite what's on the other side. Probably picked the noisiest place to stop and anchor. That's Interstate 80 right there. It actually wasn't that bad. Good morning, Lock and Dam. This is a pleasure craft heading south. I was hoping I could pass through the lock this morning. We'll try again when we get a little closer. Good morning, Lockmaster. This is a pleasure craft heading south. We were hoping we could pass through the lock this morning. Anybody home? We'll get out on the deck and try it. Good morning, Lockmaster. This is a pleasure craft heading south. I was hoping I could pass through the lock this morning. Hopefully they can hear us by now. I don't know what's going on, guys. We'll get a little closer and try again. Okay, so they finally answered. They must have been busy. Just had a couple minutes, so we're just gonna hang out here for a couple minutes and go on through. Opening up for a little old us. We keep showing up and they keep opening them, so I guess we need to keep going to Florida until they stop opening them. Okay, they don't want me floating in the middle today, so we're using lines. I'll try to show you as much of that as I can. Okay, guys, so we have about 10-foot drop here. What number is this again? 13?
Lock 14.
14. Okay, we're in lock 14. And yeah, I'm standing way over on the side over here to, you guys know the issue I have with the gutters, and I don't have wide enough bumpers. I'm hoping to fix that down the way. It's amazing I still have gutters, guys. Barely missing. So they asked me to hold the line until they blow the horn. So that's good to know. We're learning something new every single time we go through here. So, and they also said I put the dinghy on the side. Not all locks will let you tow it behind like I do. So if you're by yourself, it's a lot, less rules, I think. But I'll start doing that. Opening up the gates for us. Waiting for the horn. Multitasking and multi-talented. I am your host with the most. And Wavey is the star with the star with the bar, star with the scar, star with the har. I'll work on that. Heading out. We have been released. Free my beagle. I say it again. Free my beagle. I know some of you guys like to see the backside of the dams. That's this one. To stock up on some food, and I gotta take some water on board, like 5 gallons of water. That's what I've used so far in what have we been on the river now, about 2 weeks or so, maybe a little less, getting down to the last gallon. So we're coming into Davenport. I just punched into maps grocery stores and they all popped up. There's lots to choose from, so I'm going to look through my list and see where the closest one is. Welcome to Davenport, Iowa, or the Quad Cities. I think there's like 4 cities, a couple on the Illinois side and a couple on the Ohio side. I don't know much about this area at all. We're going to pop into here for a little bit. Go for a walk. Ooh, it's shallow. Holy cow. You guys are going to get a kick out of this. So I'm actually on a secured government base here. That dock's for government people only. And you can see the Shanty Boat out there sitting. It's actually just touching the bottom. It's like in a foot of water. And these guys came up there, very nice. And they explained to me how this bridge goes. I'm lucky because there is a little dam on the other side of the bridge there. but I have to wait for about an hour and a half for a northbound tug to come through. So we're going to be here for a bit, but I got to go back on the boat. You guys are going to get a kick out of this one. I found a place that it will not go, even with a 10-inch draft. I'm pushing it out now. Wavy gravy, you're not helping. I'll get her out of here. I've got an hour and a half until the towboat comes from the north through the bridge. I didn't even know that was there. A dam and a bridge. I'm glad I didn't go over that dam. I got time to push her out of here. We're gonna tuck up behind this barge here until they let us through. Well, here's a first. I don't think I've ever tied up to a cleat that big before. Let me explain to you what's going on here, guys. So, as I was approaching this trestle right here, something just didn't look right. I was like, I can't see the water on the other side of it. Is it like an optical illusion? And then I looked over here, and there's a chamber, like the locks, right? And I'm like, well, do I go through there, or is that just because of the height? Maybe I can just slip under the trestle, you know, pleasure boats that can slip under there. But I said, I'm gonna be careful. So I went over to that little bay there, which you just saw us at, and it goes from like 16 feet to about a foot, 10 inches in about, 2 seconds. So it's all sand. It was no big deal, but I had to push the barge off of it. I was worried there for a second I might not be able to do it, but I did. So now we're just waiting for a tug to come through, and then it'll be our turn. Okay, guys, I called them on the radio, and they're locking us through right now on this bridge. This is such a strange one to me because it's not marked on the charts or anything. There's no buoys out in front of the dam like warning you like the other dams for the locking dams. It's almost like they just kind of expect you to know it's here and this is for everybody. Kind of deceptive. I'm glad my spidey senses were tingling. Okay, this is making more sense to me now, guys. I'm going to explain this to you. I'll turn the phone around. This is lock and dam number 15. I'll show you the sign. See if I can zoom in on it. Right there. But I didn't see it on my chart plotter. I was just coming up to this. We're in Davenport, Iowa. And I was coming up on that bridge right there. And it just didn't look right. I'm like, it doesn't look like it's high enough, or I can't see the water on the other side. Just something was kind of optical illusion-y. So I pulled over into that little side bay there, which it goes up to like just less than a foot. Even the barge, I saw it coming. I'll show you what I do when I get into situations where I want to know what the depth, if the depth's changing. I'm coming up to like a shoreline or something. I go into this mode so I can see in real time when it starts to come up. And I saw it coming up real quick, so I just turned the motor off and kicked it up. So no big deal. And it's sandy bottom anyways. But yeah, guys, lock 15. And we are tied up. Someone's coming behind us, and we're going to wait for them. They're going to lock 2 people through. And I told them I'm in no hurry at all. So they just threw me a line, and we are tied up to the side. And as long as I don't rock the boat too much, the gutters are safe. Okay, so they're starting to drop us here, you can see. If you can hold the line, you can go through a lock. Trust me. Don't be nervous about it. I was, before the Shanty Boat Beagle adventure, I called Wayne's Diaries, Wayne, and I was picking his brain about it because I didn't know what to expect, but now it's a piece of cake. And that's a swivel bridge or a swing bridge. swings out of the way. I see you looking at me. I know what you want to do. You've been patient. Let's go across town and go for a walk. Give me a break. Oh, please. Oh, please. Stop.